Today we have another episode of the Educational Smurf series. Keep in mind that this is done in a private lobby with willing volunteers to make sure that we get the same educational content without jeopardizing the enjoyment of the average player's pubs and thus ruining the community. So we're trying to build the community up by teaching you guys how to win at your bracket, and that's exactly what I'm going to do today, playing a mid-roaming, aggressive hero, making space for my team while also looking to get my own farm. Let's go ahead and jump into it. And so this time around, we're going with 3K average on my team, 3,200 to be exact, and a 3,800 MMR average on the opponent team. So it's a bit skewed to purposely make it a bit more difficult on me. And I also want to show you guys from the perspective of an active mid laner. Now, I want to give the disclaimer that if you're running around ganking, being active, you are effectively enabling your team. So this is meant to be even more of a challenge for me if I do lose, because I'm going to be playing in a way that's meant to enable those around me more so than a way that is meant to have me like solo carry the game in regards to just having a ton of farm. It's still important that I look to scale throughout all of this and that I do get my own farm, but that's just important to note that that is not my first priority when it comes to my hero pick and my play. We're going to be talking a little bit more about how to pressure the opponent with constant movements and making space. So I look at the opponent lineup and I think to myself, immediately, we have a Spectre, so we need to buy a lot of time, and they have a ton of summons. They have Nature's Prophet, Meepo, and Lone Druid. So against summons heroes, they're either splitting us where we have to catch them with Blink, or they're like running at our buildings where we have to hold them off with like tanky items. So in regards to space this game, I'm actually going to be more focused on relieving the pressure that the opponent may be creating, whether that's split pushing or direct tower pressure, rather than necessarily chasing them around, catch them while they're farming. Whenever I'm against summons heavy lineups, I'm usually very content if my team is getting their half of the map and farm. Because what summons heroes tend to do is they push lanes really efficiently, they pressure lanes really efficiently, such that it becomes difficult for your team to find the farm that they need. So I'm also looking at armor items because of the fact that they have a lot of summons and a lot of physical damage. Phase boots are definitely happening. As a mid laner, I'm definitely going bottle. From there, like, we're looking at Sanj and Kaya as like the mid-tier item that's like a little bit of tankiness, but also a little bit of fighting. I'm not going to level this skill. I'm only going to level these two because these are the two that help us move around the map. The thing about Primal is he likes to use the bounty runes and just overall movement around the map. So it's bottle and then boots. Primal doesn't actually trade all that well because in the mid lane, he has health sustain compared to mana issues if he levels this skill. In the side lanes, it's different. But in the mid lane, you want to be able to balance how much health and mana you use to be about the same amount percentage wise, because that's how bottle like fills you up. Since I have a lot of health and not much mana, I actually want to purposely skill in a way that makes me use mana. But because my Q is the nuke in terms of it's all damage at once, I'm going to use that to likely secure a creep wave 1. We're against Meepo. He's pretty weak level 1 in regards to like, you know, mediocre base damage. Damn. Might be pooping this. So pull the creeps out of tower. Make sure it's not a huge wave running into us. Can't tell if this guy's like a Meepo Smurf or if he's like, you know, just a 3K Meepo player. He's not making me use nukes in order to secure CS, so like I haven't used them yet. Since I'm not taking all that much harass, I'm not going to tango a branch. I'm just going to tango a regular tree. So deciding whether or not I tango a branch or a regular tree is based on how much harass I'm taking. It's also based on if I have time to leave lane for a sec. This is an opportunity to deny him creeps and get last hits at the same time, so that's why we used our nuke there. 2 range creeps were low, 2 of our creeps were low. So whenever a bunch of creeps are dying at the same time on both sides, that's usually when you want to look to be using your nukes. You can purposely aggro the creep away from tower a bit. In this case, we want to get the rune, so we're just going to use our nuke in order to push the wave. Now we can actually fuck with him a bit since he's not going for a rune or anything. Whenever you don't have creeps to last hit, it gives you time to just fuck with them like this. So in the mid lane, it's all about not using too many resources to push the wave or clear creeps, but also like that is your goal. So that's why a lot of mid laners like walk up and start hitting the creeps like this. So like if I was against a ranged hero, I'd be doing a lot more defensive aggro because they'd be harassing me, but Meepo's like a pretty farm heavy mid laner. And so he's not going to be pressuring me nearly as much. So like I can play more aggressive, I can be more up in his face. A little bit of a misclick there, or like I didn't stop my charge in time. So I literally used that charge because I was full mana, and there's still a water rune top. That's the only reason I used that charge. And he seems like he's not planning on getting that water rune at all. Oh, so the water rune's gone, just as I say that. But notice how we're still chilling on resources, so... I'm not 100% sure how Meepo's timings work. Looks like he's running for a bounty rune. So I thought he was threatening in order to get the range creep deny there. That's why I nuked. So on Primal Beast, similar to Tusk, is you have like really low cooldown spells. So we can look to move around when we clear the wave for the bounty. So like we're just going to do this to clear the wave. Same thing as before. Didn't get any of the last hits, which kind of sucks. So this is like a whole get out of lane thing in order to go get the rune as soon as possible. And even though we're only level 5, Primal Beast is actually perfectly capable of ganking. And since we cleared that wave really fast, notice how we're not actually missing a wave. We're just going to ping top in order to gank. This is like very Primal Beast-esque gameplay. They literally can't do anything about this unless they like are ready for it, basically. Like, trust me, people will not be thinking like, oh, a level 5 mid's ganking me. So the reason why we're able to do that is how quickly we pushed out the wave, and you see that we're back in mid in time to farm. See, like, I only missed one creep for that entire thing. So if you're not able to push the wave, then you're not going to be able to move around nearly as much. And that's a really important thing to understand, like the requirement that it takes to move around. So don't feel pressured as a mid if you can't move around the map. I'm not forcing you to do anything. It's also really important to note that if you're against a farm-heavy mid, you'll probably be able to do this more. Because notice how since he's not pressuring me, I'm using less resources to farm in lane, which means I have more resources to move. So I'm always going to replenish my resources as best I can. In this case, flying myself a clarity. So Ricky TP'd. I see Meepo. So since I'm low resources, I don't want to use any more to farm. Like, I'm just not going to nuke in order to farm. So I fly myself a ward around the 5-minute mark. So it looks like they're camping me with 2 supports. Try to get the rune or the ward denied. But I'm definitely going to go for the rune ahead of time. Okay, so I'm getting camped by 3 heroes. So now it's going to be really hard to move around again because I did not get a rune. And I had already used a bunch of resources to go top. So we're going to go Falcon Blade for a little bit of mana. And then we're just going to push this out and, like, leave. Because it doesn't really seem like at this point that we have the option to, like, force anything here. So this is the whole, like, same idea as before. This is, like, enabling us to rotate. And they do have a ranged, squishy carry guy. Definitely want to, like, try to punish that. We also see Meepo in the jungle, so we might be able to kill him. So back to mid we go. In this case, since there was no mid laner pushing it in, I'm not going to TP back, right? I'm just going to walk. So how quickly I return is not only based on how early I left, but also what the opponent was doing when I left, right? So I talk about with carries, how much they can be aggressive against the opponent is based on how much damage they're taking in order to CS in lane. It's very similar in mid. Notice how I was using very little resources in order to farm the wave, and that was enough. Like, I was able to farm the wave. So because of that, I had a lot more resources to go gank. So it's all about balancing your own game as a mid laner and pressure on the opponent. So in this case, I'm going to try to be a bit efficient and stack because I think I should be able to get the rune. Nice. Haste rune, pretty pog. So we're going to go and farm this stack real quick. We're not going to rush anything. I really like getting a stack around 7 or 8 minutes because of the neutral items. Like, that's actually like the tiebreaker. Nice, we got one. That's pretty good on my hero because it gives me strength and some sustain. We did miss a few creeps for that, We could have arguably farmed that stack later, but not a big deal. We have a haste. We're definitely looking to move around here. We're actually seeing engagement 2v2 bottom, so we're actually running there for sure. You guys are about to get ran over. So the way I look at opportunities like that is if I have a haste and I'm controlling mid, I'm not forcing anything, but I'm not going to let them do anything either. So I'm like, oh, they're taking a 2v2, blasphemy. You know, fuck them as we kill them all, right? They're putting a little bit of pressure on my mid. Notice how I'm like basically babysitting my mid tower in the meantime. Like that's how I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay, as long as I don't lose my mid tower during all these moves, we're good. Mid tower's pressure is relieved. We see Spectre getting pushed out of lane a bit, so we're just gonna like walk back. We also know LD has no ult. Looks like he sees us a bit because he's retreating, so we're just gonna go back to mid. Notice how like he responded to what we were doing. Spectre was getting pressured and then Lone Druid backed off. Always checking runes. So when we're snowballing, we're gonna go for the item that helps us farm and fight. We see trees here, so we're just going to run at them. If you've ever played Primal, you know that Kaya is a really good item for farming and just damage overall. So it's just like a Primal Beast thing. You can let a support take mid here. So the reason why this move that we just made is so impactful is that Prophet was farming this area, and now he's not. It's really that simple. My team wants to smoke, which I don't love because there's a creep wave mid. And I didn't have dust, so... a little bit forced, I'd say. It's okay. Not a big deal. I just use my resources in order to... farm the wave. So when my team goes, it's a bit awkward for me. But we're just going to keep managing the tower pressure. Spectre's coming in hot. Where's my silence by? I literally can't see the cloud. So we're just being super aggro because of the fact that we're like really far ahead, but I'm feeding, so kind of sucks. I actually thought I had a creep wave there. Pretty hard to talk to you guys during these fights. A little bit of a feed. It's definitely really bad to give it to Ricky because he has the shard that's going to be coming out in 15 minutes. But by no means are we in the clear. This guy is double Wraith Band. We've been in pretty high tempo this whole game, so we're taking the time that we're dead to kind of like check out what's going on in the game, kind of fill ourselves in. So they're a pretty beefy lineup, to be honest, other than the Nature's Prophet. So when I say beefy, it's just like a lot of health to chew through. In this case, since there's nothing immediately to do, there's no like wave, nobody to kill, I'm just gonna walk. This ensures that I'm not like randomly stuck somewhere and I can't help my team. So in this case, Razor's taking the farm, so I'm just gonna go jungle a bit. This is a situation where we talked about at the start of the game. If both teams are farming, we're gonna be chill with it. Nobody's getting pressured. We have a Spectre. Warlock Spectre scales pretty hard. We're not afraid to use our ultimate to farm. It's a 30-second cooldown spell. Not a big deal. We're going to make our way towards the wave that's not pushed. And now there's also a wave top not pushed. It's a pretty big wave, so we're going to keep an eye out for what Spectre does. If Spectre goes to it, then we're chilling. If he doesn't go to it, we go to it. There's a big fight going on bottom now. This is why we held our TP. You know, it's just like dating life. You want to keep your options open. But now we need to immediately look at other lanes and make sure we're not missing on efficiency. So a lot of people would just stick around and push with their team here. Looks like our Tusk is taking mid, so we can actually stick around. Warlock wants to pressure, and it's fine. We're just helping him push the wave here. So our hero doesn't hit buildings, so we're just letting Warlock's hero do it. And we're kind of like ready to fight again because our Razor's mid now. So our Razor's doing the whole Bloodstone thing. Looks like bottom tower is going to go down. So we're just doing a wave clear move here. This is literally we don't see them on the map. Pressure the wave. And now we do see them, so we're going to run very aggressively into their jungle. So we can actually cut this wave aggressively because we saw them all bottom. These are the type of things you do as like an aggressive mid laner. Like I'm farming, it's just like really aggressive farming. On the opponent's side of the map, bullying them from areas. We see them pushing mid, so we're going to respond to this. So we're not going to force anything because he got his ult off. If he didn't ult, then I would have kept going. This is like a opportunistic play. If they mess it up, we kill them. If they don't, we're good. I'm a little concerned we're losing bot tower, but my team's also fighting, so we kind of just got to roll with it. Kind of got to pick and choose which one's better, you know? We're actually feeding. I didn't expect to die there. Meepo does more damage than I expected. But it worked out. I thought I'd be able to disengage. I think if I had pressed my up or while I was tanking tower, I would have taken way less damage. There seems to be some weird bug with the Ricky Cloud. I really don't feel like I can see it for some reason. I think it's kind of tough for us to force Roche, but we have tag... What level's tag team? Oh, we have max tag team. Okay, we can do it. Checking mid wave. I will clear this wave since they just respawned. I'm going to run to my team after. This is just a quick, like, hit and run on the creep wave. This helps, like, create space for the Roche. I want to take Aegis because I'm the one making space. I'm just going to tell my team to chill because we don't have cooldowns and there's waves that are bad. So I don't want us to feel like we're forcing anything. See how these waves are bad, wave bad, Warlock ulti on cooldown. So I was fine to, like, quickly look for something. Maybe we caught somebody right out of Roche. But, like, continue pursuing. However long you pursue for kills is based off of what the map looks like. So I'm now going to TP bottom because I just finished the wave top and my TP just came up. So since we got nothing out of this, we want to, like, immediately disperse. We don't want to, like, sit here. Like, if we got, like, a team wipe, maybe we march it down bottom, but since it's just, like, nothing, we don't worry about it. We TP'd, we cleared a wave top, not a big deal. We just don't want to lose any towers for free during any of this. See this? Like, if I hadn't immediately run out of bottom, I would have lost the tower mid, which just sucks. Like, I'm going to try to combine with my Razor again or my Spectre. So we're a little bit spread out right now. I mean, I was clearing the wave really fast because of the fact that they were all missing. But if he wants to sit there for his blink, eventually die. Gonna let the Spectre finish that guy off. Going for more. Did not mean to high five. I might be in some trouble actually. Just gonna run. I could have maybe stood my ground, but I don't think it's worth it. The Primal definitely struggles against, like, all of this AoE shit. I just need BKB because they have fucking Ricky. Ricky's just super annoying. Honestly, it's like I'm buying BKB against a bunch of summons, which just kind of sucks. But the way I'm dying, if you notice, is Ricky. So I just have to respect the 5-position broken hero. Always prioritizing getting to my next item if I'm close. The closer you are to an item, that's usually the weaker you are in the game. Not only because you don't quite have your item yet, but because it's been a really long time since you got your last item. So your power level hasn't really gone up recently. Just trying to be a little bit extra efficient by clearing the next camp because I saw 3 mid. Gonna ping my item timing for my team. I took the Dragon Scale over the Fairy Trinket because I'm having issues dying more so than having issues killing people. So it kind of just depends on, like, what you feel like is your major concern in the game. And now that I have BKB, I can kind of, like, man mode it. We're gonna let our Bloodstone Razor be the guy that gets gone on because he's itemizing to be, like, the tanky guy. I do think we go Blink, though. We can choose our targets carefully. We have Haunt. We're, like, really strong. Yeah, he's just fucking dead. I'm gonna try to find Ricky here. You can get him. Slept again. So in this case, we TP out because there's no creep wave to push with. So we can do this and then quickly join our team. So like what we're going to do is run straight back to our team. It's like a similar thing as before. These moments of separating from your team and inefficiency and then coming back is really important. It's especially good because the opponent has 1 or 2 heroes dead. So even if your team gets caught in a fight, you are not leaving them 4v5. So notice how we now have 2 lanes that are good rather than just 1. And a lot of good things will naturally happen when you do these type of TVs. So we're only sticking around here because they're dead, we still have BKB, and we're also waiting around mid for the rune. That's like the major reason. That's like the tiebreaker. That's like why I'm willing to stick around. So as a mid laner, it's definitely very important, if possible, to mold your farming around your team, as well as around the rune spawns. So a lot of mid is to like do this and this. You're kind of like dancing back and forth, flowing back and forth between mid and side lanes based on runes. I'm personally just waiting for Haunt. Like if I'm winning with Spectre, if I'm winning with long cooldowns, I'll just wait until they have the cooldowns. It's like maybe we're strong enough to fight them right now, so if they force something on us, sure. But like I'm close to Blink. We're waiting on Spectre Haunt. We are not on a timer here, and that is really important to remember whenever you're thinking, should we be doing something? Because like there are definitely a lot of moments in Dota where like you feel strong and you could do something, and whether or not you have to kind of decides whether or not you do. I'm gonna set up now that I have Blink. And this is just a Giga Chad mid lane play, you know? Just Giga Chad. Gotta Giga Chad it up. They are trying to force a tower. We have our timing. We see the Fatal Bonds. That means we know where they are. And we got them. Whenever you win a fight, always pursue. Always. Like, if you know what rough direction they were going, just pursue. It's, like, really important to, like, as long as it's advancing on the map, you do it no-brainer. Like, if it's towards our base, away from where we want to go, maybe you, like, decide, okay, this is a bit too far. This isn't efficient to chase. Clearing the way before Ricky's alive. I don't want to get, like, darted on my way out. BKB in 20. We're always monitoring our BKB timing. The most important thing when you're snowballing like this is not to keep killing people. It's to make sure nothing bad happens. So when BKB is on cooldown, we're going to be a bit cautious. Last thing we want to do is like lose awareness and just like go on somebody with no BKB up. It doesn't mean we won't. It's just every decision is slightly more cautious because we don't have BKB. We're just charging through this creep wave. No big deal. We're just clearing the creep wave. Our team wants to rush. I'm actually going to put my Falcon Blade in my backpack. This dust. Always cutting mid-wave when I can. Never leave waves behind, guys. So this time around I have BKB, and we're like more so looking to end the game, so I give it to my carry. Before we were looking to make space and take the map, so that's why I took it. My Spectre should be top, but he's not, so I'm definitely clearing this wave. I don't want this to be me. But we're against summons heroes, and nobody's clearing waves, so. Oh well. I tried to ping. I said I wasn't going to use voice chat. Vector was probably thinking about farm bottom. And Nature's Prophet surprised me. I was not ready for him to show up there. I'm actually going to go Strength Blink because I actually have slot issues. It's either Strength Blink or Shiva's. But I do have slot issues because of detection. I want to have AoE control. Like, we have Warlock, we have Spectre. We have, like, a lot of AoE damage. But we don't necessarily have AoE control. So a little bit of chaos going on right here. I would honestly just say it's just low MMR chaos. That's all that's happening. I'm not gonna like overthink it. Like, we're not dealing with lanes properly is what is happening right now. It's important to recognize, like, yeah, this map feels really awkward. Like, we want to be doing things, but I'm like watching through different things going at once, right? So if that's the case, don't freak out. Don't over stress. Just make sure you're like, if you're aware of what's going wrong, you'll just fix it. and be ready when it's good. So like right now the waves are good. We're just picking up a rune. Team looks like they want to push. But because we don't have Aegis, we're going to be much more patient in the fight. Vector could come back. Yes, he does. So we're being patient now because we don't have Aegis. We're trying to start the fight, but not actually like hard commit. And now we just run the fuck in because we have BKB haste. And they're like in now. And now we're being a bit chill again, resetting. We're gonna cut waves in moments like this. They have 3 heroes dead and we're pushing a tower and our hero doesn't do that much tower damage. If we were the tower hitter, we wouldn't do that. We don't really have like a great tower hitter. Razor doesn't have boots of travel or anything. Same thing here. Oh, I was gonna blink dodge that if I saw it, but I didn't see it. And looks like a fight's going back on, so we gotta be careful here. Warlock didn't get his ulti off. We're gonna be cautious again. Spectre still has Aegis. We were gonna check that for sure. Something's canceling my blink. I'm not sure what. We're going on Rubik because if we don't go on him, he steals our ult, so it feels really bad. Very good. It's just this guy left. Okay, force a buyback. Oh, they got me. I should have BKB'd earlier, I think. I wanted to save my teammate, and I had BKB, so I thought I'd be fine. They're doing way more damage to me than I thought. I'm honestly underestimating their physical. I'm, like, kind of regretting the overwhelming blink instead of the Shivas. Just because of the fact... I'm pretty sure I'm taking mostly physical, even though, like, this says equally distributed. Like, look at this. All auto attacks. So if you're ever not sure, you can always just, like, look at that kind of thing. You look at your death summary. So, like, I'm fully aware looking at their lineup that Nature's Prophet right-clicks, Lone Druid right-clicks, Meepo right-clicks. So they do have a lot of physical. But, like, if you're newer to the game or you're not entirely sure, you can always use that death summary to kind of check in on it. So even though I have 4,000 HP, I died really fast. Okay, a little bit of chaos going on here, a little bit of feeding. Nothing wrong with making the game a bit interesting. Our Spectre definitely needs to carry detection. I mean, I'm always going to carry detection myself, but in these type of moments, collect ourselves. Do not continue the chain feeding. So we're paying attention to waves. We saw that they walked this way, so we're going to be very careful up here. Everything we do is evasive maneuvers. Everything. They have an Ags on Rubik. I feel pretty comfortable to do this. Okay, yeah, we see Meepo now. So we're actually almost to our Shivas. I'm going to go ahead and sell my bottle. We don't really have a slot for it anymore. Primal likes runes, but it's not like Storm where it's like you like win or lose the fight based on an Arcane rune or something. The reason I'm going Shivas is because they don't really have fast attack speed heroes. If they have stuff like Ursa, Troll, Shivas definitely loses value. But Shivas is also, it doesn't slow through BKB, the attack speed aura. Against heroes that buy BKB, it's not as good in that regard. But Shivas tends to reduce a lot of damage from non-BKB buying summons heroes, because the summons don't have BKB, obviously, so they get slowed. They obviously can't buy items for their summons, so the attack speed slow is much more relevant. They have a sheep. One thing I really like about Strength Blink is when they have like elusive blinkers, like that Rubik had a blink, that's why he felt comfortable doing that. It prevents them from blinking, the AoE damage from that. So if you're like blinking on people and their reaction is to blink away, this guy copied the password. We're searching with a random dust. We might find Nature's. Shivas is also really nice for catching split pushers because it gives vision. So when you're against this type of lineup, we said it at the start of the game, we really need to kill them on the map. We need to get the waves and then kill them on the map. You can't just say, hey guys, we're stronger, we have all of our ults, walk down a lane. That's what a lot of people will do. And if your teammates are doing that, stick to your guns. And make sure you're doing what I'm doing. Or you're just clearing waves. If your team's still grouped up at that point, the waves are decent. Like, this wave's not at our tier 3 or anything yet. then we're all good, you know? So we're going to disengage. We don't want to pop BKB yet if we don't have to. Fights are pretty long. Both teams are pretty tanky. We have Razor, Bloodstone, and Spectre. We just patiently wait. Notice how we patiently waited, let the fight break out. And we killed them all. So, the reason why patience is so important in team fights is because you're recognizing how long you think the fight is going to take and how long you can afford to wait. If you're against heroes that are predominantly magic burst or some shit like that, like they will end the fight very quickly, then, you know, you'll want to jump in, like you're against like Earthshaker, you know, something like that. You'll want to jump in, press BKB preemptively, hard commit. That's what you want to do. So the reason why I TP'd bottom here is because we weren't going to end, I don't think. We don't really have the best ending lineup. Like, we don't have, like, the lone druid on our team. So I see an opportunity to let my team finish the racks, clear this wave as well, and then this is naturally good on Radiant because of the fact that Roche is top. So I'm pushing in a lane that's making the opponent come here to deal with it, and now Roche is up here, right? So it feels really good. The way this game is going, because it's long fights and I want to be able to hold my spells, I'm just going hard at Trask. I think as long as I'm alive, and there's a lot of different methods to delaying your BKB usage. So in this game, I think my method of delaying BKB usage is to be super fucking high HP. Like, that's all. Because they don't have a lot of burst, they just have like a lot of kite, and if they want to keep chucking spells on me when I have 5,500 HP, you know, they're welcome to do so. I'm going to let them do that. Some games, you want the fight to go out longer because you can't really afford to have them cast spells on you, and that's when you go Refresher for the double BKB, because it lets you use the BKB early, and then it you'll still be able to fight afterwards. So we don't have Aegis again, so we're like super patient, same thing. So we're just doing this for the control. We're going to chuck our shard in. We're literally chill as fuck. We have no cares in the world. Let our team take the fight. Play around our blink cooldown. Go on the Rubik if we can. Wait, what stopped me? Oh, Nature's Prophet. Not to mention Heart synergizes pretty well with Strength Blink. There's just a certain role that you're going to play in the fight, and there's also like a certain amount of contribution that you have to have in order to win the fight. And because we have like Spectre Aegis, because we have a Bloodstone Razor that's like super tanky and he can run in for us, we can just wait for what looks like a good opportunity for our hero. We're not doing anything that makes opportunities for other heroes. That's actually a really important thing, because sometimes it doesn't really matter what hero you are. You could be either. You could be either of those things. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed another educational Smurf series on how to play an active mid laner as opposed to a farm-heavy one. I will see you guys next time for another episode of Educational Smurf. Bye.